Welcome, beautiful seeker. Thank you so much for joining me at this special nodes project that I've had in mind and heart to do for quite some time. If you're new to my channel, my name is Morgainne, and this is the Existential Shift. So, let's say you are watching the Taurus Scorpio nodes video. It doesn't matter if your north node is Scorpio or your north node is Taurus. What matters is you're on that axis. You're either a north node Scorpio or a south node Scorpio. You're either a north node Taurus or a south node Taurus. And this is just an example. Maybe you're watching for Sagittarius Gemini. Maybe you're watching for Capricorn Cancer. Maybe you're watching for Pisces Virgo. Maybe you're watching for Leo Aquarius. Who did I miss? Maybe you're watching for Aries Libra. Okay, it doesn't matter. Watch for your axis. Now, why is that? But Morgainne, so south and north node are supposed to be different. Well, yeah, but everything is supposed to be different. But bottom line, we're also a wholesome manifestation of all our separate aspects of our psyche and soul, etc. And that wholesome manifestation is divinity. If you look at a chart that has the 12 zodiac signs, or 13, depending on by which astrology you go by. So there are 12 separate houses for the different zodiac signs that express different things within your life. But the center of that cycle, just like with anything else, is the divine, wholesome entity that is either God, Goddess, cosmos, universe, source, however you'd like to describe it. And the metonymy of it, the microcosmos of it, will be you. You are everything in your chart. And the journey to that core, to that center, goes through these different aspects of your human condition. Specifically with the north and south node, and by the way, this can apply also to your sun sign and the other side of its axis. Why? Because our sun sign is where the sun was when we were born. But the other side of it is our earth sign. So again, to take the Taurus Scorpio example, if you are sun sign Taurus, you are earth sign Scorpio. So just like in the north and south node, you aspire to be the north node or aspire to become, and you view yourself as your sun sign. But you were born on your earth, on earth. Hello, you're still here. In this lifetime anyway. It's your core essence. It's part of your essence where you come from. Same with the south node, okay? So if we talk about the south node and the north node as the south node be where our soul comes from in reincarnations, or if you don't believe in reincarnation, then you can think of it as your childhood background, right? Your south node is the typecast that you're used to portraying. If your south node is in Scorpio, you've been a Scorpio for many lifetimes, not necessarily the zodiac sign Scorpio, but your essence, your behavior patterns, you are very familiar with the typecast of your south node. And you probably portray these characteristics, not just in past lifetime, but also when you came here in this lifetime through your childhood. Because pretty much before our Saturn return, at around 30-ish years old, we behave as our karma, as the cycles that we have been playing and portraying thus far. But the thing is, I don't look at it as, okay, I need to let go and leave the south node and go toward the north node and have this to be the new and that to be the released old. Kinda, but not so much. Because coming back to the explanation about the wholesomeness and divinity and our wholesome soul being at the core of the chart or of the cycle or of everything, when we release the south node, it never actually goes away. So the point is not about releasing it per se, or turning our back to it. The point is having mastered the archetype of our South Node, having mastered the character behavior patterns. We are taking them and transmuting them into the manifestation of our life path based on the North Node sign. So we might be saying goodbye to the manifestation of a life path that is based on the South Node, but we are not releasing the mastery and the skill and the knowledge and the energy of that sign. It will always be a part of us. And the South North Node's axis, it's the tail and the head of a dragon. It's the beast in us, the glorious beast, the magical, life-living, life-giving entity that has fire within and creates its life. Wherever our head goes, our tail comes with us. So this is a special project for union within the self when it comes to our energy, our soul, our spirit, and our extra tapping into our witchy vibe. You want to manifest, you want to create, you want to do great things, you got to work with your energy, all of it. It's transmutation, not separation. We are here to unite our South and our North Node. And yes, lead a life that is more based and look like the North Node, because that's what the soul came to experience now, or wants to experience further on. But the closer we get to unity, the closer we get to source, the more we embrace all the different aspects within us. Practicing unconditional love and self-love is taking ourselves into ourselves with love. Not with judgment, not with separation, not with dismissal. This is not, how do I get rid of the South Node and finally move on to my North Node? By thinking this way, you will not. That's the irony. So I want to help us change the mindset, rewire it, because right now we live in an extrapolar world. Not because it is now new, it's been polarized, it's been separated within humanity's consciousness. But in order for us to heal and go into unity consciousness, we need to acknowledge and be aware of what it is we need to resolve and work on. We've been talking about unity and harmony and peace, at the very least since the 60s. But we couldn't really get there because we were so dual and polarized and separate in mind. So we talk about healing, we talk about unity, we talk about peace. We can't really do that as long as we're so fragmented. Even in astrology, let's get rid of the South Node. No. So the world is now bringing up to the surface in a very in-our-face way just how polarized we are, just how separate from one another we are, and just how much we have detached from our heart and from empathy, true empathy. Not coercive, abusive, narcissistic empathy. True empathy. And in order for us to understand what it is that we need to do to heal, everything is bubbling up to the surface, right? When you pour water with soap on the floor, all the dirt comes out. And you see it. And you have to mop it out first. So that's what our society is going through now. A very important note, again, before we go into your reading, this is a long intro, I understand, but it's important. This is timeless, meaning whenever you are guided to watch this video for your access, for your North and South Node access or Sun-Earth access, it can apply to both. that's the time for you to hear it. So it doesn't matter if you're watching this the day I upload this, or a year from now, or 10 years from now. This is the time for you to watch this. This is the time when your soul feels ready for unification. So congratulations on that. I'm very happy that we found each other, and I hope this helps. If you want to know your North and South Node, in case you're new to astrology and you're not familiar, I will link below links to websites that are free. You can just put in your day of birth, your place of birth. Specifically for North and South Node, you don't need to know your time of birth, but it's helpful to put that as well if you know it, because it will show you many other aspects of your chart. Okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you. Here we go. Aries, Libra, North and South nodes respectively. So, if your North node is in Aries, this is where your North node is. If your South node is in Aries, this is where your South node is. Right? And either way, this is the Aries energy side, this is the Libra energy side. And it applies if you are Sun sign, Libra, or Aries, and that way you have the opposite on the other side. Okay? Pre-shuffled, pre-pulled, did not look at the cards. We're discovering to get them together. This is very exciting. Here we're having an, whatchamacallit, a final message from your South node, a final conclusive message from your North node, a message from the oneness, integrated energy of both, which is what we are here for. A general message from Spirit to conclude this entire reading. What is this, you ask? Well, there is always work to be done, and guidance, spiritual guidance. I've pulled a major arcana from the major arcanas of my big tarot deck that I use for lectures and events to symbolize the energy work and the spiritual guidance that you can do after we finish this reading, on top of the realizations, of course, that you can actively do as homework to help this happen. Okay? I will link a class to it below in the description box. I also didn't look at it. We'll discover it together at the end. Okay? All right, so without further ado, let's get into this. Your Aries mind, 5 of Pentacles. Libra mind, Page of Swords. Aries nodal heart, Judgment. Libra nodal heart, 4 of Cups. Aries nodal active energy that plays out, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords. Libra active energy that plays out, the Magician and 3 of Pentacles. Where the energy of your Aries node stands, 2 of Swords and Ace of Cups. Okay. Where your Libra nodal energy stands, 8 of Wands and the Moon. Ooh la la. So right off the bat, let's point out a few fun stuff. 2 5s, 2 3 of Swords, 2 3s, 8 1 8, because the moon is 18. And we see here that the Aries nodal heart is waking up. The soul aspect of that part of the dragon in you is waking up to divinity and is being called to by divinity. and it's beginning to express itself. It's beginning to form a foundation within the connection to your higher self and what your higher self can be. And Libra heart is listening. But although it's listening, it's also kind of ignoring. Just like you here, the Aries you, is ignoring. What is this? With their actions, right? Because this is in the heart, it's where it stands. But look at the actions. Look at the mind. We're treating your nodal aspects like entities within you. It could be the houses where it's at, how it plays out in the world, versus where it actually is, versus what wakes up in it. Same here. Look, the Libra nodal seems more developed than the Aries one. Seems. Because it plays out in your life in a way that is quite intelligent, quite capable of showing itself as the knowledgeable, as the wise side, the one that can cooperate and build together with people, the one that can connect. Whereas the Aries nodal aspect in you is just causing chaos and drama and keeps failing things. So why is it that your higher self is communicating with your Aries node if your Libra node is so fancy and mighty? Something about the Aries node here is very disappointed from itself and thinks very less of itself, very little of itself. I'm sorry. I think maybe the Aries energy in you has done some instinctual acts that created disappointment and failure and hurt. So now there's an aspect of like, I can only mess it up. But Spirit is like, no, 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 no. Don't be mad at your Aries nodal. Don't be mad at your Aries placement. They are your direct link to God. This side of you reminds you to feel and reminds you to respond from your feelings and from your gut. Sorry. And the Libra side in you is like, well, I've been doing it all right. And yet, I'm still not, as the individual, the seeker that is watching right now, I'm still not at the top of my game. How come? Because the Libra node has been taking credit for the Aries node, as if, oh, the Aries side of me was just fucking up. The Libra side of me is always on point. And it's a self-convincing energy that is based on a lot of insecurity, actually. The I am versus the we. We includes me, right? There's no we without me and me. And me and another me. So the me in you that is a part of the we outside of you, in relation to your Libra nodal axis, your Libra node, I'm sorry, be it north or south. It's like I myself, working for myself is not enough. Judgment for the Aries side, right? I must communicate with others, harness all the elements, go from place to place, cooperate with others as well, build with others. Because the self, the me and the we, is messy and destructive and speaks their mind too much and expresses their pain too much, and it's uncomfortable for people, and it's uncomfortable for the we, and and it doesn't lead anywhere. It only messes shit up. Hence, in order to have the we that I want, says the Libra in you, I must be this polished. However, you're behaving polished, you don't feel polished. You don't feel polished because the aspect in you that feels itself, the Aries node, is being treated like a messy 5-year-old. But this messy 5-year-old is connected directly to God, has very high level of inspiration and wisdom that the Aries in you has acted upon it, but it wasn't received well by your environment. It was dismissed, it was shamed, it was mad at, it was look what you did. You broke, you stumbled into the wine glass and it fell and it broke and the wine spilled. But no one will ever know that that wine was poisoned and you were used as a vessel of God. So the Aries in you is judged for being reckless. You judge that aspect in you. And so the unknown divine communication that flows through you, that inspires you, is blocked. Because if I don't understand it, if it looks messy on the surface, then it's wrong. Well, maybe that mess is a beautiful mess that is meant to happen, that your own higher self is trying to create, because maybe there's something about that thing that you broke down, that relationship that you messed up for being you, was holding you back, would have kept you behind, would have sabotaged or hurt you somehow. And the Libra in you is like, if I had just spoken this and said that and done that, everything here would be fine. That relationship would have lasted, that job, that person would have invested in me, that place would have hired me, that building would have accepted my application, and so on and so on. And all you do is look with judgment at that aspect of you that made these things break down, and you're completely ignoring the thing that made you break them down in the first place, your gut instincts that weren't dumb or reckless or irresponsible, rather divine. Let's talk to the Libra node in you for a second. This is wonderful. I'm not dismissing this. Very important skills and talents that allow you to express your instinct and channeling of the divine in the world in a way that people can consume. However, if you find yourself in a situation where the Aries in you breaks shit down and things are messy and the Aries in you just can't not, please don't be the judge of yourself, ironically enough. Libra in you, please don't judge the Aries in you. If after all the considerations and all the thoughts and all the political correctness and all the diplomacy and all the intelligent, wise communication, shit still breaks down, They'd be like, oh, thank goodness. Because this is so polished and sharp. So if this doesn't work in a situation, that situation is not meant to work, right? Situation that is meant to work, you can be just 10% of this skillful and talented and wonderful, and it will still work out. Situation that is not meant to work, you can be 1,000 times more than all of this. It's already a lot in a good way. And it will still break down. You'll still say something that will mess things up out of the blue, and you're like, I can't believe I said that. Or you'll still do something that you can't explain, that, there's no turning back from. So please, instead of judging the Aries nodal axis in you, love it to pieces, because it's talking to God. Imagine a little kid speaking gibberish, and his parents are like, what is happening to this kid? Something is wrong with this kid. This kid is not learning the language. They're speaking gibberish. Something's wrong with their brain. They're taking them to a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, whatnot, and make them feel terrible, like something is wrong with them. But then they encounter someone who's familiar with languages, and they discover that it's actually an ancient language that this kid has been remembering from a past lifetime. So it's not that they're speaking gibberish, they're speaking a language their parents just don't understand. So the ignorance of the parent makes them judge the child that is actually brilliant. But the damage is done. The child thinks of itself as crazy and dumb, and they shut down that language. Instead of learning both their parents' language and the language that they already know and remember, they shut it down. They shut divinity down. They shut their connection. Why? Because of the Libra node. The kid wants to be loved and accepted by society, by their parents. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. We all do. We all have Libra in us. It is important. It's for a reason. We have to connect. We have to see ourselves through others' gaze. But nothing is good to the extremes, right? Because when something goes to the extreme, it comes at the expense of its polar. Right? When you raise your Libra node to a level of superiority or holiness, you inevitably push down the Aries node. You can say that about any polarity. But let's not forget, Aries archetype, our Aries in us, that's the birth of life. It's the first sign in the zodiac sign. In the ancient times it was Taurus. It can be discussed. I personally think both Aries and Taurus are the first in the zodiac, but in the masculine/feminine way, right? Aries would be the first masculine, Taurus would be the first feminine. So it's not really this or that. That's what I would say. And the reason now we look at Aries as the first is because we're in a patriarchal society. And the reason why then we looked at Taurus as the first, because then we were in a matriarchal society. But as we move through this work, the purpose of this project, of this special project, of unifying and integrating the polarities in the yin and the yang, as divine masculines and divine feminines that are represented by the archetypes of Aries and Taurus come in union, soulmates connect, we will move from 12 signs to 6 signs. And then the Aries Taurus, masculine feminine, will be first because they will be one. But we already did Taurus Scorpio. Let's go back to Aries for a second. Let's respect the Aries archetype in us. The birth of the human condition in its masculine form. And the Libra axis is meant to help that archetype connect with other archetypes. Libra is not an animal, it's not a person, it's not a god, it's the scales. It's the leg on which the scales stand, right? These are the scales and this is the leg. This is Libra, the thing that create the balancing act that connects between the polarities, between different individuals. There's this leg that stands and makes sure that everyone is on even ground. So this archetype that connects energies can't really exist without the energies that it's trying to balance. Libra is the we balances the me, but it is made of me and another me. No me here, no we. So maybe if you pour enough love to the Aries in you, to the house where you have Aries, the planets where you have Aries, the nodal, the north or south node where you have Aries, love and appreciation and respect and attention, it will feel good enough with itself to tap on the Libra shoulder in you and be like, hey, I have this crazy thought. Can I run it by you? Instead of being afraid that the Libra will judge them, and then they go off on their own tangent because they can't hold it in, right? It's life force. It's the divine speaking through them. It's like trying to hold in fire. Can you imagine paper trying to hold in fire? It will consume it. So instead, work with it. So instead of going off on a tangent by itself and creating damage, it runs it by the Libra aspect in you, and you figure out together how to express that channel, even if it doesn't make sense, but how to go about it in a way that could make sense. Okay, so we don't have any proof. Libra says, okay. Aries comes to Libra and be like, I have this crazy thought. I can't prove it. I don't know what to do. I just know it. And the Libra is like, okay, we can't prove it. We can't, support it with evidence. But I trust your instincts. If you say something is wrong or you say we should do something, I'm going to cover our ass. We're going to do it right by the book. We're going to check everything first and make the risk as calculated as possible, and we'll go about it together. You understand what I mean? That will be wonderful integration. And let's talk about the magician here for a second, and this cup here, and this cup here, and this cup here. And yes, cup here. Because the divine speaks to us through the emotion, through the heart. But there is so much ignoring this divinity. Look at this guy ignoring the divinity. Look at this one ignoring the divinity. Ignoring it when it comes as words from spirit, ignoring messages from spirit, ignoring it when it comes from your own talents and skills. A lot of doubt that goes to where? Let's go to the moon. Insecurity. Not good enough. Need to prove myself to people, says Libra. Because the Aries in me fucks shit up all the time. Well, what if we change the narrative? What if I tell you that the Aries in you didn't fuck anything up? The Aries in you had no choice. It was a vessel. It's like being mad at fire for burning paper after paper is trying to contain it. Like, I'm sorry, paper, you should not have attempted to contain fire. With all due respect. How dare the eagle fly? How dare the fish swim? This is not me giving Aries people or Aries energies excuse to go mess shit up and be reckless and careless. I'm referring to that part in you that knows something deeply and feels something truly and wants to go about it, and then is being only judged for it because it doesn't make sense for others. But if it's not hurting anyone else, it's not at the expense of anyone else, just your expression in the world, who is anyone to get hurt by it? Just because they're afraid to express themselves like the Aries in you does? And if you're watching this because you're a Libra sun sign or an Aries sun sign, maybe this is how it's playing out in your relationship or relationships. And if that's the case, you can't tell a Libra person everything I just said. I mean, you can, and maybe they'll change accordingly, but they have their own issues to do, because this reading is for you, for aspects within you that can be totally resolved, because I'm talking to these two aspects in you right now. But if you're a sun sign, and this is in relation to your partner, you feel this dynamic with your partner, or relationships, then I'm talking just to you. I'm not giving this advice to your partner. They're not hearing this. And if they hear this advice, maybe they follow, maybe they don't. But although you have control about the Libra in you or the Aries in you and what they do, and you can modify and work on them, you can't have control on your partner, right? So don't let this be a confirmation to, oh, I'll just make them understand. I'll just make them see. No, you can't do that. They need to see. What you need to do is take ownership on whatever you are, right? And do what's best for that part, for you. If you're a Libra that is dealing with an Aries, whom, yeah, they're coming from their instincts, but they're reckless and dangerous, and it's impossible to live with them because they don't know how to moderate their instincts and to use their Libra side to help them express themselves in the world. You can't be there. And if it's the opposite, if you're an Aries and you're trying to express yourself in the world and you're genuine and you're true, but your partner is constantly judging you and mocking you and belittling you and telling you you're crazy instead of listening to you and hearing you out and respecting you, then you can't be there. But back to the node, back to both Libra and Aries within you. You can speak with both your sides. And every time one of them is being a little this or a little that, remind them of this reading. Watch it again. And as you find that balance within you, it will manifest with a balanced relationship. I can't not talk about relationships. The Aries Libra axis, nodal axis, it's literally about relationship. The I and the we. All relationships, not just love. But also love, of course. So just like the, life and death, power and magic archetypes came through in the Taurus Scorpio reading, just like the knowledge, freedom, information, prophecy, faith came through in the Gemini Sagittarius one. Here we're talking relationships. So regardless, I do recommend watching all the nodal, all the project, all the 6 videos, because we all have all of these axes within our chart. Match them to the houses where you have those signs. Which reminds me, I forgot to mention in the beginning, this can also apply to where the collective is nodal wise, okay? So because these readings are timeless, I don't know when you're watching, but if you're watching this at a time where the north and south node are of the collective are on the Aries Libra axis, then that can apply. You can watch it for the collective, right? Wherever the nodals are right now, you can watch that reading to know what's going on with the collective. And if you want to know every month what goes on in the collective, then watch the axis for that monthly sun sign. For example, I'm recording this in November. So the sun sign right now is Scorpio. So the axis is Scorpio, Taurus for the collective, regardless of the nodes. So you want to know on a bigger scale where the collective is. Right now, the North Node is in Gemini. So watch the Gemini Sagittarius. If you want to know where the collective is this month, watch the Taurus Scorpio. Next month, in January, for example, it will be Capricorn Cancer nodal axis for where the collective is for that month. So whatever it is that you want to have knowledge on or know what's going on, whether it's in your personal chart or in the collective, watch accordingly, respectfully. Okay. Back to the reading. 2-5. Your brain, it might be in a mess. The Aries part. When I say you, when I point this, I mean the Aries in you. When I say you and point this, I mean the Libra in you. Okay. So the Aries axis, the thinking mechanism of it is like explosive. Why? Because your brain shut itself to messages from spirit. Spirit is channeling enormous amount of information and messages, but your brain doesn't know how to process it because you've shunned yourself emotionally down because of shame and guilt and childhood psychology stuff that you didn't deal with. Feel it out. You gotta feel it. You gotta sit with it. It's not about denying it. It's not about telling yourself that you're fine. That's denial. That's exactly what this whole not dealing with is. Why your brain can't process and looks at the dark side of the moon instead of the bright side of the moon. Because the bright is too bright because your brain doesn't know how to deal with it. Because someone told you to stop thinking so weird when you were thinking creative. Fuck them. I mean, if they're your parents, then don't tell them that. Respectfully. Fuck them. So point is, don't tell yourself that you're fine if you're not fine. Feel that you're not fine. Cry it out. Have some good dark nights of the soul. Please watch Karmic Shift and Liberation. It's a special project that I've made to elevate your karma. It is directly related to these readings. It's going to help you a lot to figure out your North-South node karmas. It will help you integrate the energies. I will open this, of course. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so I'm going to link your Karmic Shift and Liberation below if you want them singular. However, if you want to watch all the signs, they're all available for unlimited streaming on Patreon. If you join as a member, and you can cancel anytime. You'll have unlimited streaming of all the content, including Karmic Shift and Liberation. People refer to it as life-changing. That's the type of response I'm getting. Okay. What else? Let's continue. So, how is your South Node concluding this reading? Page of Wands. Your South Node is like, let's have fun with it. Let's have fun with the messages we're getting. Let's have fun with being connected to people, but not at our expense. The South Node is telling you, okay, you've read that you mastered your South Node and you've been your South Node for lifetimes, but your South Node is telling you, not so much. You're at a page level in your South Node. Don't be so quick to turn your back to your South Node. You should never turn your back to your South Node. That's the whole point, integrating South and North nodes to reach the center of our spirit, where God is, right here. So still work with your South Node. Is like you have so much to explore about the sign, about either the Libra or the Aries that you have in your South Node. So much to explore, so much to experience, so many adventures, so much fun. Can we have fun already? It also is telling you you will learn me through the feet, not from a book. You won't be able to read about me to experience me. It's not you now going into the books and reading everything about your sign that you have in your South Node. No. It's about understanding the archetype and live by them and have adventures and experiences and act upon it. You have South Node Libra. Be the most, intense Libra ever. You have South Node in Aries. Be a very intense Aries. Go for it. Have fun with it. Message from your North Node. 4 of Pentacles. Your North Node is acting like a biatch and is being very abrasive and controlling over the South Node. Maybe someone told you that you need to go to be your North Node and deny your South Node because the North Node is the future and the South Node is the past, blah, 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 blah. And so that's what your North Node does. It's being dismissive of the South Node, being like, oh, you're not good enough for us. We've been there. We've done that. No. Being very overprotective and threatened by the South Node energy. And the South Node means zero threat. The South Node wants to integrate with the North Node, wants to be a part of it, and it's being denied. Denied entry to its own self. Your South Node cannot be denied entry into you. Sorry. Being a little bit OCD with the camera angle. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. Just look at the 4 of Pentacles because I see that there's a little bit of a light on it that reflects. Message from the integrated North and South Node. Unified. Ooh la la. 4 of Wands. Yes. And this is 4 and this is 4. So this tells the North Node, if you'll connect with your South Node, if you accept it in, you'll have right now you have little buildings in the background. You will have a castle and parties every day because the South Node in you will bring fun and excitement and joy and adventure to the responsible building blocks that the North Node is taking you to. Right? And this is an Aries card, so the Aries in you need a lot of love. Huh. Four, 5 of Cups. 4, 5 of Pentacles. It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of insecurity. That's a lot of self-sabotage. There's a lot of overthinking here. Go where the happy is. Go to happy. Do I sound like a kindergarten teacher? Go to happy. Coochie. Okay, that's like talking how you talk to a dog, not to a child. I'm sorry. Okay, this is driving me nuts. I'm going to pull the camera just a bit. There we go. Yay! I did it. We did it. I did it and we did it. See what I did there? Okay, message from Spirit. Jeez. The Strength card. Do you have that in prettier? I mean, come on. And I love that we have the black magic and the white magic archetypes here. Rent the Strength card from the Tarot Masterclass if you want to know what I'm talking about. When I say black and white magic, I don't mean evil and good. I mean different types of magic that the Strength card represents. Yes, so many layers to the Strength card. Who would have thought that the tarot are so layered and there's so much to learn about them when we can just read a quick book and call ourselves tarot readers? Anyway, sorry, a little bit of a rant. I do that sometimes. Strength card. Boom. This is so Libra, Aries, and you. Like, and it's funny because the Strength card is the Leo archetype, and Leo squares. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Why did I got it confused. I was thinking earlier that the Leo energy squares Taurus and Scorpio, and I completely imposed it on your reading. Apologies. Anyway, still pretty. How the instinct can work with the balance. How our desires and our passions are our connection to source and divinity. Religion has taught us to suppress our feelings and suppress our emotions, suppress our desires, claiming that it's evil. It's not evil, it's the direct connection to God. And no structured religion wants the people to know that they have direct connection to God, that they don't need a messenger to speak to God. You don't need me, you don't need anybody. You can, have guidance and assistance and teachers, but spirit is in you, source is in you. You are made of source. You are a co-creator, which makes you a creator. Okay? So this instincts, desire, want, we were taught to believe that they're evil so that we will be controlled. Because we don't want to be evil, we want to be good, right? We want God to love us. Oh, duh. So, okay, let's suppress that evil thing that is actually the connection to God, because, well, some people told us to, And don't get me wrong, this is not an accident, an accidental manipulation. It was very intentional, exceptionally intentional, till today. So it got modified from religion to government. Governments create your dependency in them, so you don't know that you can do it on your own. No one teaches in schools kids how to grow their own food or how to heal their own wounds with herbal medicine. Why aren't we taught in school how to grow our own food and how to heal ourselves when we can grow our own food, when we can heal ourselves with things that we have in the garden? I'm talking about major shit, like big illnesses that we can heal with superfoods, with medicinal plants. And you don't have to go to the Amazons. A lot of things you have in your backyard. Reduce inflammation, take turmeric. Clean your teeth, chew up on mint. And it's hard for people to imagine because it's so simple. I don't have to go somewhere and pay a plastic bottle. Yes, because those medicines are made of plants. Those toothpastes are made of plants. You have digestive problems? Eat greens, eat grass. Why do you think dogs, when their stomach hurts or they have problems with digesting, keep chewing your lawn and on grass? They know what they're doing. So we are so separated from source, from wisdom, by people who want, and organizations that want to be in power, so they tell you that you need them. So the priest from any religion, I'm not trying to be an ass for a specific religion, will tell you that you need them to speak to God, that you need their house of worship to connect to God. And they will tell you that what you feel, just because you're not in love with your wife or husband anymore, well, that makes you evil. Yeah, you swore to loyalty to your partner. You swore to misery. You've grown. You've changed. You're not. It's okay. That's not godly. That's keeping you in the system. Not that there's anything wrong with a good and righteous system. But when the system is built in a way to control you and take away your power, don't listen to your sexual urges and desires. Don't listen to your heart. Even if it changes, that means it's bad. Everything changes all the time. If something remains fixed forever, that's when you need to worry. I'm not saying you can't love someone for 50 years or 500 years. But if you grow together as spirits and you evolve and it's still real and it's still in your heart, then great. But if it stays the same just because there's a box with bars around your heart that forces it to stay the same, that's not staying the same. That's forcing something to stay the same. Different things. So here, the unification of the Aries and the Libra in you tells you your self is holy, because the self creates the connection that brings us back to God. Without me, there is no we. Without we, there is no God. And this is the strength card. It tells you, like I did before, go to happy. You have 3 4s actually. You have the power to build new world order. No? You do. Okay, we're going to turn this around in a second. I will tell you what it means. If you want to know more and be very proactive with your homework to help you get unification and your oneness superpower, then I will also link the class from my famous Tarot Masterclass Bunkai for whatever card will come out below in the description box, where you'll also find karmic shift and liberation. You'll also find a way to figure out your north and south node. You actually don't have to know the time. I already said it in the intro, I know, but you don't have to know the time to know specifically your north and south node. You need your time to know your rising and your houses, and it's best if you know your time. It's ideal for your chart, but specifically to know your north and south node, you don't have to have your exact time. Okay? And also, I'm linking underneath all the videos my video from a 13th element video that I made here on YouTube that teaches how to integration, transmutation, alchemy of self and spirit. It will be helpful to give you practical ways of how to go about integrating these energies and all other polarities within you. And guys, if you're new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe. All of you seekers, please show the love. And if you're here now, it means this helped you and you enjoyed this. So help others enjoy and be helped by this as well, by pressing all the buttons and help the algorithm. It helps the algorithm more than you can understand, and it spreads the videos wider and farther. So help your favorite creators, not just me, by very simple reciprocation. Speaking of, thank you to my patrons and my channel members. You mean so much to me. Your support is why I keep doing this. It's thanks to you. So everyone has my patrons and my channel members to thank to. Everyone who's watching this right now for free on YouTube, please say a little thank you in the comments to the patrons and the channel members. Their support matters a lot. It gives me the time and freedom to do what I do. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do all this. I would have to have more income from other sources, right? And speaking of Patreon, I believe I mentioned it. All the karmic shift and liberation and other content is available there. Check it out. Okay, Morgainne. Wow. Can you get a bigger compliment? The High Priestess. This is so glorious. See, the High Priestess is the priestess that doesn't tell you you need her. She takes you to the underworld, right? It's the archetype of Persephone. It's the archetype of Morgainne Le Fay, Hecate, women of the moon, wisdom that you find in your heart, in your infinite spirit that is forever between the polarities and of the two polarities, night and day, dark and light. You can find the integration between the wisdom of the system and the wisdom of the self. You can find the integration between your religious faith and your spiritual faith. You can find the integration between, being a part of society and structure and rules and regulations that keep people safe, and expressing yourself in the world freely. There is a place for that. There is that place for us, but we have to, in order for us to get there, in order for us to get to that type of utopia, we have to do that for ourselves, within ourselves. This is what the High Priestess is telling you. Do the work of integration. Find the secrets in you and let them out. Get to know them. Get to know yourself. Go deep. There is so much for you to explore about yourself. You're powerful beyond what you can imagine. See, she's holding the Torah, right? The wisdom of the written word of man and how it interpreted God. But there's also plantation and nature, which is the most sensible thing to worship. I find it funny that people who believe in an invincible God mock people who are pagans or indigenous, who believe in the power and medicinal properties of nature, the actual elements that we can see, feel, touch, and we live by them, right? We need them to survive. We need them for food. We need them for shelter. We need them for medicine. How can you, read your shampoo or your medicine and see all the plants in there and then be like, oh, medicinal plant is hoo-ha? Like, how deep in your ignorance can you be to think that? Like, it's literally written in front of you, black on white. And then you're like, oh no, it's hoo-ha? It's literally the foundations to everything. Worshipping nature is the most scientific type of faith. It's the thing that connects practicality to spirituality, reality with spirituality, right? Matter and spirit. Find that sweet spot within you. It's there. Possibly being shunned or being told that it was evil because this is the witch, right? Witcha, wise woman. That's what witcha means. That's a literal, word. How does a wise woman being deemed evil? How does that happen? How did that happen to us in history? What happened to us? We have to go back. How did the Celtic cross, that looks like a plus, became the Christian cross on which Christ was crucified? Why did we take a symbol that symbolizes balance of all the four elements and the four directions of the wind that guides us to our core center, to our heart, where God is, of both worlds, right? Of the polarities of yin and yang, and made it into a symbol of sacrifice? Oh, so in order to get to this divinity, we have to sacrifice ourselves? We have to be martyrs? We have to suffer? That's what religion teaches us. What happened? How did that happen? Who did this to us? Man did this to us. We did this to us. No, you do not have to suffer and crucify yourself to reach God. You are already with God. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Let me know if this helped you. I love you, and I will see you in the next ones. Ciao.